Worlds with rules you don't understand, emotions that feel off, and realities that quietly trap their characters. And you. Here are 10 niche, cult, and beginner-friendly weird films that feel less like movies and more like psychological mazes.
Good morning. 44 days left. Breakfast is served.
The Lobster, 2015. Yorgos Lanthimos. In a near-future society, the state gives you 45 days to fall in love. Otherwise, they turn you into an animal. David checks into a hotel where single people hunt for partners like it's a job. Forced dances, awkward dinners, fake smiles. If you fail, you choose what creature you become. Those who refuse the system escape into the woods and live as loners, hunted by the hotel residents for extra time. Caught between these two extremes, David forms a quiet connection with a woman who shares his emotional detachment, a relationship that immediately violates both worlds' rules. Romance becomes mechanical, reduced to traits and checklists. At its core, the film is a satire of social pressure masquerading as nature. Partnership is treated as mandatory, individuality as a defect. The comedy never comforts. It leaves a lingering unease about how much of love is choice and how much is conformity.
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. That is when the world will end.
Why?
Donnie Darko, 2001, Richard Kelly. A troubled teenager in suburban Virginia begins receiving cryptic messages from a figure in a rabbit costume predicting the end of the world. After a mysterious accident spares his life, Donnie starts to suspect that time itself has shifted around him. Hallucinations, sleepwalking episodes, and strange coincidences blur the line between mental illness and cosmic design. As the days count down to an unspecified catastrophe, he follows clues that seem to lead both toward salvation and self-destruction. At first glance, Donnie Darko feels approachable. It has characters to care about, a mystery to follow, and emotional stakes that feel familiar. But beneath that surface is a story that never fully stabilizes. The rules of time are unclear, causality feels optional, and meaning is always just out of reach. Philosophically, the film sits between determinism and free will. It asks whether choice matters in a universe that may already be scripted. It's an ideal entry point into weird cinema, unsettling but still emotionally generous. Just be prepared for ambiguity disguised as answers. Fantastic Planet, 1973, René Laloux. On a distant planet, tiny human-like creatures live as pets and pests under the rule of giant blue beings known as the Drogs. A young human escapes captivity and begins learning the knowledge and rituals of his alien masters. As he grows, he reconnects with other humans scattered across the landscape and helps organize a quiet resistance. What begins as survival slowly evolves into a fragile rebellion against a civilization that barely recognizes their humanity. The film's cutout animation creates a constant sense of artificiality. Movements feel ritualistic, detached, almost ceremonial. Dialogue is sparse, meaning is carried through imagery. Often read as an allegory of colonization and power, the film avoids emotional identification. That distance is intentional and unsettling. It doesn't invite empathy so much as observation.
Excuse me, sir. Exactly what type of service does this company provide?
You get to be John Malkovich for 15 minutes. 200 clams.
I see.
No cutting, by the way. Hey, what's that? No cutting! Hey!
Being John Malkovich, 1999, Spike Jonze. A failed puppeteer takes a filing job in a cramped office building and accidentally discovers a hidden door that leads directly into actor John Malkovich's consciousness for 15 minutes at a time. At first, the portal feels like a surreal joke, a private thrill shared between a few coworkers. But word spreads, and the experience quickly becomes a commodity people are willing to pay for. What begins as curiosity spirals into obsession, manipulation, and a bizarre struggle over who gets to inhabit another person's life. The film treats its impossible premise as completely ordinary. No explanations, no rules, just consequences. People exploit the portal, build businesses around it, fall in love through it. Identity becomes a shared resource, something to be rented rather than lived. From an academic perspective, the film is a sharp critique of late capitalist subjectivity. Even the self is no longer private. It's funny, inventive, and deeply uncomfortable. If you're disturbed by the idea of losing authorship over your own inner life, this film will linger longer than you expect.
An empty desk is an efficient desk.
Let a friend tell you your life is going wrong.
Now shape up!
Do cooperate. Think of your mother.
Brazil, 1985, Terry Gilliam. In a sprawling, dystopian city ruled by paperwork and surveillance, a minor clerical error links an unremarkable office worker to a suspected terrorist. As he tries to correct the mistake, he becomes increasingly entangled in a labyrinthine bureaucracy that treats procedure as more important than people. His mundane existence is punctuated by elaborate fantasies in which he imagines himself as a winged hero rescuing a mysterious woman. The deeper he digs for truth, the more the system closes in. Gilliam's world is cluttered, decaying, and aggressively mechanical. Technology doesn't liberate, it suffocates. Dreams function as the last refuge of individuality, but even those are fragile. The film operates as a bureaucratic nightmare in the Kafkaesque tradition. Its discomfort comes from recognition, the sense that systems don't need malice to destroy lives, only momentum. If you expect narrative justice, Brazil will deliberately deny it.
It's a showtime!
Paprika, 2006, Satoshi Kon. A revolutionary device allows therapists to enter and record their patients' dreams, offering unprecedented access to the unconscious. When the technology is stolen, dreams begin leaking into waking life, collapsing the boundary between reality and imagination. A dream avatar named Paprika moves freely through these shifting spaces, trying to track the culprit through layers of symbolism and spectacle. As the infection spreads, the world itself starts to behave like a collective hallucination no one can fully control. Unlike most dream-based films, Paprika doesn't treat the unconscious as something dark or repressed. It's excessive, playful, and overwhelming. Identity fragments visually, not psychologically. Philosophically, the film challenges the hierarchy between reality and imagination. It can be exhilarating, but also disorienting. Viewers who prefer narrative anchors may struggle, while those open to sensory overload may find it liberating. House, 1977, Nobuhiko Obayashi. 7 schoolgirls travel to a secluded countryside house for what they expect to be a carefree summer vacation. Once inside, the home begins behaving less like architecture and more like a living organism with its own appetite. One by one, the girls are swallowed by surreal, cartoonish, and often absurd supernatural attacks. The trip quickly transforms into a chaotic descent where logic dissolves and the house rewrites the rules of reality. Nothing behaves correctly in this film. Visual effects are openly fake, editing is chaotic, tone shifts without warning, horror becomes slapstick, slapstick becomes nightmare. House is a rejection of cinematic realism. It's closer to a child's dream than a genre film. Viewers seeking coherence will be frustrated. Those willing to surrender control may find it unforgettable. I'm Thinking of Ending Things, 2020, Charlie Kaufman. A young woman travels with her boyfriend to meet his parents at their isolated farmhouse during a snowstorm. What begins as an awkward family visit stretches into long, unsettling conversations that seem to bend time and memory. Details subtly shift, names, ages, histories, as if the story itself can't decide what is real. By the time they leave the house, the narrative has fractured into overlapping identities and imagined possibilities. The film refuses clarity. Conversations repeat, settings shift, and reality feels increasingly provisional. It's emotionally dense and intentionally alienating. Philosophically, it explores memory, regret, and the construction of self through narrative. Many viewers disengage. That reaction is part of the experience. The film doesn't want comfort, it wants confrontation. Dogtooth, 2009, Yorgos Lanthimos. 3 adult siblings grow up confined within the walls of their family home, cut off entirely from the outside world. Their parents fabricate an alternate reality, teaching them false definitions of words and inventing threats to keep them obedient. Daily life follows strange rituals designed to control sexuality, curiosity, and even imagination. When small cracks appear in this artificial system, the fragile balance of power begins. Language is weaponized, desire is regulated, violence is banal. The family functions like a closed ideological system. The discomfort here is intimate. Unlike dystopias or dreams, this horror feels plausible. It's a clinical study of power, obedience, and social conditioning. Disturbing not because it's extreme, but because it's efficient.
We've met before, haven't we?
I don't think so. Where was it you think we met?
At your house, don't you remember?
No, I don't. Are you sure?
Of course.
Lost Highway,
As a matter
1997,
of
David
fact.
Lynch. A jazz musician begins receiving anonymous videotapes that show the interior of his home filmed while he sleeps. Soon after, he is accused of murdering his wife and imprisoned, only for his identity to seemingly dissolve behind bars. Without explanation, he transforms into a different man, living an entirely separate life, complete with new relationships and dangers. As the 2 stories echo and overlap, the film loops back on itself, turning identity into something unstable and circular. The film loops rather than concludes. Identities split and merge. Meaning refuses to settle. Lynch offers possible interpretations, psychological, metaphysical, but commits to none. From an academic standpoint, it's a study in narrative collapse and identity fragmentation. It doesn't reward analysis. It absorbs it. Many viewers leave frustrated. Others accept that understanding was never the point. These 10 movies made our list of niche, cult, transgressive, and weird films for beginners. The kind of movies that make you ask, why did that affect me so much? Or, what did I just watch? But either way, they make you think deeper. Thank you for watching.